this is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Batman Arkham City Series 1 figure of Robin. Arkham City, obviously the sequel to the smash hit Arkham Asylum. You can actually kind of see Arkham City here in the background, which is really kind of cool. You can see it was $18.95 at my local comic book shop. That's actually called Fat Collectibles. You can look them up online. And they actually have some really good prices. I actually really don't mind buying from them, and that's not just a plug for them either. I actually really do like buying from them. They're pretty fair. You can see that the just general clamshell is still in this Batman cowl shape, which is really kind of cool. I really do appreciate that. You see Series 1 collectible action figure splitting around here on the back, and the read up here says the Batman Arkham City introduces Arkham City, the new maximum security home of all Gotham City's thugs, gangsters, and insane criminal masterminds. This heavily fortified, sprawling district in the heart of Gotham City becomes the ultimate battleground between the Dark Knight and his greatest adversaries, as he untangles a web of intrigue that threatens to tear the city apart. Batman's supporting cast is transformed by this new locale into a stronger, more dangerous set of enemies and allies, and they'll push him to his limit and beyond. And you see that it's developed by Rocksteady Studios and published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. And like I said, it's the sequel to the award-winning Batman Arkham Asylum game. Comes with character-appropriate accessories and multiple points of articulation, so I'm kind of curious what we're going to get here, as this is the first non-villain figure that we've gotten from any of the Arkham games. So let's get this guy open and see exactly how cool this figure is. Alright guys, so here we have Robin opened up and out of its packaging. And first thing that I have to say is that I'm very happy to have another kind of good guy finally to display on my video game shelf for Batman. Now granted, this is the first opportunity for a good guy figure other than Batman that we've been able to get. And that being said, I am happy to actually have one, like I just said. Although this Robin really does kind of disappoint me. Now, as I mentioned in the Batman video, with these new Arkham City figures, there seems to be a noticeable downgrade in terms of the paint detail, and a downgrade in terms of the quality control. Like I said, 2/3 of the figures had quality control problems. Batman being the first, and Robin being the second. Now, for that, well, starting things out first, he does come with a display stand, just a black kind of stand, nothing special about it, although this peg actually stays in, so that's actually really nice. He does come with a gigantic staff, which we saw in the actual game. Now, the unfortunate thing, and it's kind of got some paint residue or something here on the side, which is kind of ugly. Now, unfortunately, in the game, he wasn't a playable character in the actual story mode. That didn't come out, I believe, until the downloadable content. So in the original game, he was only usable in some of the challenge maps, and this was the weapon that he used, and we actually saw this during the story play, so that's actually cool that they include it. The figure itself, now, I'm just going to get into the quality issue. First thing that I noticed is the paint on here is very kind of sloppy. So you can see that there's some bleed and some sloppy paint going down here, and then just in general, you can kind of sort of see some red scuff right up in there. Let's see, what else? Is that it? There? No, that's just dirt. So I mean, overall, not too terribly bad, but the biggest problem, this leg works perfectly fine. This one is completely stuck. It's like it's glued, and you can see, I can spread this and you can actually see it separating there. This leg, it's like, I don't know, it's like completely glued in place, and you can see it's glued forward. So straightening him out like this is impossible, because that one's like that. So it's like you're perpetually having him in a walking pose, except for the fact that there's no peg on this hole, or on that foot, so you can't get him in a walking pose because the actual peg hole is on the foot that's going back here. So I don't know necessarily if because of the way that, what the hell is that? Furry hair. I don't know if that paint problem right there is causing some of this, but like I said, you can stretch that out and you can see this leg separating from this middle cross piece. This one not moving at all, and that really is very, very unfortunate. I don't particularly like the fact that at least on this elbow it can bend backwards like that. It's not too terribly bad, but almost makes me wonder if if this is reversed. I mean, let me see. It almost... honestly, I can't tell. Yeah, that kind of looks like the bicep. So I guess it's rotating the right way. But this bending in, and this one doesn't do it. So I don't know why, but that just is ugly to me. I'm not a very big fan of that. So the quality control is definitely something that I have a problem with on this. Also, just like the Batman figure, the face, this doesn't remove, but you can kind of sort of peel it back, and you can see that he's got some red hair up in there. This is all kind of, this all rotates. I do like how they did that because it keeps the illusion that the hood is on him, which is really kind of cool. It's a different look for Robin, and I do appreciate it. He does still have the cool mask around his eyes, but there's just a lot of lacking paint on his face. He's super pale, and I don't even, honestly, I don't even care about this figure because I got a different one, so I'm gonna try completely pulling this off. Let me see. Come on. Does it actually come off of his head? No, it's actually glued onto his head. And I'm destroying a toy, but like I said, I don't really care about this one too much because, there you go, come on. Get off. Oh, he's got a hole on the back of his head too. Ouch. No, it hurts, it hurts. There we go. All right. That actually doesn't look too bad like that. Battle damaged. But you can kind of see it. And I could probably actually do that. And they painted all the way around, so that's actually kind of cool. I don't mind that. I might be able to scrape that black off or paint the head myself for a more of a customized look. But that's kind of cool looking. I actually do like that. But you can see that that was attached and everything. But there is very little paint detail on his face. There's just not a lot of texture coming through. Very plain. Very, very boring on his actual his face. Although, like I said, taking the helmet off, or the hood, actually does kind of make him look a little bit better. It's kind of cool. But as I said, I did get a second one, and as you can see, this leg does move perfectly fine, and you get a nice range of motion, actually, with the legs. He also bends here at the knee. He also rotates at the upper part of the boot. Nothing at the waist, unfortunately. The head does rotate, as you can see. The arms move in and out of the body. They're just pin and socket joints, and then yeah, that kind of bends down there, too, so that's probably just the way that it's actually molded. So pin and socket at the shoulders. This is kind of a soft, pliable rubber, so you can kind of stretch that out. Go forward, he rotates right here. Now this kind of sucks because when you rotate it, you can kind of see, and then you rotate the arm around, and it creates that cut. And I really dislike that. It looks fine like this, but then you rotate it, and that's kind of ugly. So I'm kind of a little annoyed with that, I suppose. He also bends at the elbow. He can hyperextend this elbow. Like I said, he rotates, and then his wrists also rotate. Although, well, that one doesn't. Does that one? Yeah, that one does. So they do rotate. This one's just kind of stiff, so I'm probably going to have to just use the old freezer trick on that and pop that joint. And if people are asking what the freezer trick is, all you do is you put this figure in the freezer for a few minutes, let it get nice and cold, which is going to make the peg inside here get very stiff and not break. And then you can actually rotate it around, put a little bit more force into it, and not have to worry about, like I said, the peg breaking. And usually that makes that joint pop. But you can see this one rotates. Now this wrist here, or hand here, he can hold his staff in that one as well. But you can see that this is a much more closed whole hand right here, whereas this one is a little bit more opened. So this one probably holds it the best, and it's a much more secure fit. And really, I do like the figure. I really do like it. I am very disappointed that there is a lack of paint detail on him, and it really kind of makes the whole figure just in general suffer. Because the first line, the Arkham Asylum figures, the amount of detail was just unbelievable. You know, the original Batman, the Joker, Harley Quinn, even Scarecrow. I mean, the texturing on the skin itself was phenomenal. It had a much more realistic look to it, I suppose. And these figures, while nice, don't have that same realistic look. So that is really kind of a disappointment. And then also, like I mentioned, the quality control issues really just put me off on a lot of these figures. Like I said, 2/3 so far of Wave 1, I've had quality control issues. Wave 2 is a little bit better, but I still had quality control issues. Now, that's kind of a hit and miss sort of thing, and had I gotten this figure first instead of that one, I probably wouldn't even be complaining too much about the quality control thing, because it would only be represented in the Batman figure. As it is, the only real guaranteed problem that I have is the lack of the paint apps. All that being said, I do still recommend these figures. You just have to be very careful. Now, something like looking at the leg and having it not move is not something you're going to be able to tell in the package, and that's definitely something that the freezer trick will not fix. So all that aside, I do recommend these figures. Just know that sometimes it is hit and miss, and as a collector, we're kind of used to that. But as a collectible figure, I do expect a little bit more in terms of the paint detail, especially in the skin texture. It's just hard to look at this figure and then compare them to the Arkham Asylum in terms of the paint and really say that these are on par with that, because they absolutely are not. But other than that, that's all I can really think of, guys. So until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.